We're very sorry for the interruption, but we have some important information to share with you here on Channel 4. Please stand by for the time being while we get the latest news ready for you. This is an important message from Channel 4 News. There have been multiple reports of a new flu-like illness emerging from China. This disease has a few reported cases from various other countries, but does not pose a severe threat at this very given moment. So far, there have only been 3 cases reported across the world, and further research has yet to be studied for these new instances. Currently, there have been no signs of any cases happening in Britain. No restrictions will be put into at this time. However, we highly suggest you remain cautious and practice basic hygiene to prevent any disease from spreading into our nation. Cover your face when sneezing or coughing to avoid dangerous pathogens from spreading to other people. Also, consider washing your hands after using the bathroom to clean your hands of any germs. Symptoms are still being looked into. Due to the recent and fast and dedicated research, the general public is advised to look for the following: sickness, rashes, hunger, and a high temperature. If you exhibit said symptoms, you should stay at home until you have recovered fully and report any out-of-the-ordinary effects to your local doctor. Not doing so will pose a risk to your community. It's vital we all play a role to keep each other safe and prevent another pandemic from happening. You should not panic regardless. It's predicted that this illness is not linked to the VIVENTES disease in any form. Despite the pandemic being 7 years ago, the world and our country are still being rebuilt to this day. We must do everything in our power to prevent another tragedy from happening at all costs. Despite the pandemic being 7 years ago, the world and our country are still being rebuilt to this day. We must do everything in our power to prevent another tragedy from happening at all costs. Humanity simply cannot afford another pandemic. We must act accordingly and be thoughtful of others to avoid this new virus from spreading. Thank you for your cooperation and for being considerate towards others. Stay tuned for a Channel 4 news report regarding this developing situation. ITV1 has interrupted its normal programming to bring you the latest information about the new flu variant. It's highly recommended you listen to this broadcast. The first ever person killed due to the illness has been reported in France. The person in question was an elderly patient who had severe dizziness, pale skin, and fatigue, which was all the result of the virus. It's been alleged that the patient exhibited aggressive and hostile behavior from hospital staff before being restrained and shortly passing away afterwards. This death is being treated extremely seriously, and the people who have been in close contact with the patient in question are being quarantined until further research and notice. To prevent this unknown disease from entering the UK, the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, has enforced mandatory inspection for arrivals in all major airports. Discussions in Parliament are in progress about which further actions to take next. It's expected that restrictions may be put into place if the flu becomes more severe. It's been announced that both essential and non-essential businesses will be permitted to continue operations. As announced, schools will remain open for the time being. Measures may be put into place to keep children safe if the situation further escalates. Research has been proven that children can easily spread the illness faster than the average adult. It's suggested you check any child's temperature or health before allowing them outside. You must isolate at home if you exhibit any flu-like symptoms or fatigue, as this new illness is airborne and can be spread through physical contact. Please remember to stay diligent and be aware of anyone you know who may be infected with the disease. You must not let your guard down. This cannot be stressed enough. We simply cannot afford another pandemic due to the everlasting change and consequences of the VIVENTES disease. Everyone must do their role and cooperate accordingly.
Here on Channel 5, we are interrupting our normal programming to deliver you the latest information regarding the new flu virus which has taken the world by storm. Please pay strict attention. Programming shall resume as quick as possible. We've been alerted that the first ever possible case of the new flu disease has been found in the United Kingdom. While this virus is not seen as severe, this is being treated as a top priority to prevent further spread. As of right now, there are currently no deaths reported in our country due to the disease. However, the first case appears to have given the patient a severe cold. The most disturbing observation is the fact that the patient is currently experiencing drastic changes in behavior and is showing a small amount of animalistic tendencies. These were the properties of the VIVENTES virus. However, you don't need to panic, as it was confirmed that the disease was eradicated following the nuclear strike in 2013. Every instance of the virus was destroyed as a result, making it impossible for it to resurge. Despite this, civilians are advised to do the following to avoid further spread. Wear any form of face covering in highly populated places to stop the flu from traveling through the air. Consider regularly cleaning your hands in an attempt to kill any form of bacteria. It's also suggested that you consider the safety of anyone in your life who may be vulnerable to any illness. This includes elderly relatives or anyone who has health problems. Extra precautions and safeguarding are being put into place for Channel 5 headquarters to ensure that a tragedy never happens again to our network or our colleagues. State-of-the-art security will be enforced at our headquarters in case of another full-scale pandemic. For now, this seems highly unlikely. If you encounter anything that could be further symptoms of this new flu-like virus, you must report them immediately to help researchers. Not complying is a selfish act that poses a risk to everyone who you care about and further increases the chance of another pandemic. As a community and nation united, we must do everything possible to avoid something similar to the VIVENTES pandemic or risk the collapse of this country. That's all from us. We would like to thank you and emergency services for working hard in these uncertain times. Normal programming shall now resume, and we will announce further updates later on. For now, good luck and remain safe.
BBC is interrupting its scheduled programming to issue you the latest news regarding the recent flu. It's beneficial you pay attention to this alert, as it contains crucial information that could possibly save your life. It brings us our greatest of sorrow to announce that this new flu has spread to the United Kingdom. This has resulted in a massive surge of new cases, and several deaths have been reported in the past few hours. It's been observed that these new cases have given us some new insight on the majority of victims to this virus. Unfortunately, it's been witnessed that a lot of people, regardless of their age or gender, have exhibited animalistic and violent, hostile behavior. The victims of this virus in question are now currently being researched and quarantined until their symptoms have appeared to calm down. This research is being ethically conducted to get some further understanding about this new phenomenon. In light of this, we've also have been given extremely disturbing news regarding this new flu-like virus. It's highly likely that this virus is no other than a brand new variant of the VIVENTES disease, which was thought to have been completely wiped from the face of the earth 7 years ago. Just like the VIVENTES virus, this new variant has the same ability to turn your loved ones into violent, blood-hungry beasts who consume the flesh of the living. As of right now, this new variant does not pose a severe risk compared to the original disease. However, restrictions are being put into place to ensure that the virus does not spread any further. Her Majesty's government has advised that you work from home if possible and only go outside if it's essential for you to do so. It's also stated that you should wear face coverings when going outdoors to protect the people around you. Essential reasons include, but are not limited to, shopping, medical reasons and appointments, and exercise for physical and mental health. It's forbidden you leave your home for anything other than these reasons. It's also been announced that schools will be closed in replacement of online classes for the near future until it's deemed safe by the Prime Minister and Parliament for them to reopen. If you have any zombie-similar tendencies, you are required by law to self-isolate swiftly and inform your local police that you potentially pose a threat to the general public. Not following this will result in quarantine and potential prosecution for threatening the safety of the people. Relevant law enforcement will be patrolling the streets day and night, keeping the local communities safe. By the government, police and military have been given the right to use lethal force if needed to, if any infected individual appears to be hostile or undead. It's important you remain calm and collected at this time, as panicking will do nothing but worsen the situation. That's all the information we have to provide you at this time. Further announcements will be shown on all BBC channels and the BBC News app. Normal programming shall now resume from the time being. Everyone at the BBC wishes you the best, and we hope to return to at least some form of normality soon. Goodbye for now. We look forward to delivering you the latest information soon.
All Sky channels have interrupted programming to deliver you some vital information regarding the new VIVENTES disease variant. We advise you listen to this broadcast as it contains extremely important information that may just save your life. There have been multiple deaths reported all across the world due to the disease in the past day or so. It appears that this new VIVENTES variant is growing more powerful by the second. These new deaths have caused the bodies of the infected victims to reanimate into similar zombie-like creatures seen before, with a few minor differences. For anyone who's familiar with this disease, the VIVENTES virus is an extremely dangerous virus that can kill anyone. Once somebody has been killed, there is a high chance their corpse will reanimate. Once the victim has become a member of the living dead, they are a shell of their former self. You'll have no choice but to defend yourself from anyone who's become an animated corpse. Zombies in this new variant have increased speed and intelligence, making them more adapted to their surroundings and more hostile. Improved eyesight and hearing are extremely common for undead corpses in this evolved variant. Due to this, it's advised you stay well hidden inside your homes to avoid being at risk by any infected residents. We are also getting reports of areas being highly crowded from zombies. It's been alleged that multiple people have been injured or killed as a result. The military are currently being deployed to combat the further spread of any infected beings. They have been given the right to terminate anyone who appears to have reanimated. Blockades have also been placed and are being heavily guarded by the relevant authorities in the majority of towns and cities across the United Kingdom. If you cross them, you may be prosecuted or shot by armed forces. It's highly illegal for anyone to exit their homes unless it's for essential reasons only. Harsher penalties may be put into place if more citizens are seen breaching these laws. In light of this, there have been multiple investigations launched in China due to this new variant. After extensive research, it was concluded this new variant was an experiment accidentally exposed to the public. Chinese authorities are looking for the potential suspect who has unleashed this disease once again. If you have any potential information that could aid this investigation, don't hesitate to contact us. It's unknown whether this VIVENTES variant was released by an unknown suspect due to political reasons. However, it's believed that it wasn't intentional. For now, we suggest you close windows and doors, but also switch off any ventilation to prevent any dangerous pathogens from entering your home. Be sure to call 999 if you suspect anyone near you to be acting bizarrely or out of the ordinary. Emergency services are doing their best to help everyone throughout this new variant.
You are now watching Channel 4. We have to interrupt our programming once again to issue an emergency broadcast. This broadcast will cover key information and news about the Viventes disease, so stay tuned. This is an urgent broadcast from Channel 4. We have just been notified about an enormous rise in cases throughout the majority of major cities. Cases are rising in London at an alarming rate. There are mass crowds of zombie-like creatures within the city. Multiple deaths and injuries have taken place, as well as severe damage to infrastructure. Famous landmarks that have been rebuilt after the nuclear strike have collapsed due to the gigantic horde of infected victims of the Viventes disease. The military is struggling to fight off the mass crowds as we speak. Multiple members of the armed forces have been seen to be violently slaughtered, and some have been mutating into homicidal creatures. Following this, the city is being blocked from anyone entering or leaving. As an attempt to control the virus, anyone who's seen entering or leaving the City of London will be instantly terminated on sight to prevent the swarm of zombies from increasing by size. The Prime Minister is expected to make a response to this tragic incident. It's suggested by Parliament that mandatory conscription will be enforced to strengthen our military. This may ensure the safety of our country and the world. Conscription would be mandatory for all fighting-age citizens. Refusal towards this can result in prosecution by law enforcement. Following this, the government has taken the next step for dealing with the Viventes disease for good. From now on, it's strictly forbidden to go outside regardless of the circumstances. Only authorized personnel will be allowed to patrol the streets, and all businesses will be forced to shut down as of right now. The government is currently planning a system that will ensure that businesses will continue to be supported. Civilians have also been legally authorized to use firearms or other weapons at any time during the pandemic to defend themselves against zombies. This will be revoked once the Viventes disease is no longer a threat. Our deepest condolences go to the people and families affected by this pandemic so far. We understand that this is a big change for humanity, but we shall prevail once more. We will now broadcast a special program out of honor and respect for those who we've lost due to the Viventes disease and the former deceased Prime Minister, David Cameron. Please stay tuned for further updates and news regarding this ongoing situation. For now, please remember to stay safe and calm at all times.
We've had to halt programming to issue you this following emergency broadcast. Please stand by for further instructions and news regarding VIVENTES-19. A horrific evolution in VIVENTES-19 has been reported in multiple cases across the world. This new discovery shows a recent characteristic given to anyone who's been reanimated after passing away from the virus. This has followed the recent closure of London due to the city being overrun by the undead. It appears that zombies now have the strange ability to even sense the presence of a human within a few miles away. There have been multiple deaths reported in light of this recent discovery. It's also worth noting that if an animated corpse knows your location by their senses, you will not be able to avoid them. Despite the nature of these creatures having a lack of conscience or emotions, they will not give up at all to hunt down their human prey. You will have no choice but to defend yourself against a zombie, even if it's someone who you love and care about who has been reanimated from the disease. The government has also temporarily authorized the usage of weapons of firearms for all residents across the United Kingdom, Scotland, and Wales. This will be revoked once it's considered that VIVENTES-19 is no longer a threat. London is also still an unsafe place fit for human life following yesterday's events. It's been revealed that the relevant authorities are still struggling with the growing population of infected individuals. Members of the royal family, including Her Majesty the Queen, have been safely evacuated to a safe and disclosed place. She will address the nation shortly regarding the challenging times we're in. If authorities are unable to control the swarm of infected individuals, London will eventually meet its brutal demise. We cannot urge this enough. You must absolutely stay away from London. With that being said, you must do everything you can to survive by all means necessary. You're advised to arm your house with traps or anything that may slow a zombie down. This can range from, but is not limited to, advanced home alarms, weapons, acid, and cleaning products that could be harmful to anyone who's infected. Please plan accordingly for each action you take for your survival, as it may just be your last. That's all from us at the moment. We will continue our programming for as long as possible. For now, remain safe and follow all government guidance. Goodbye for now, and thank you for your cooperation.
All BBC channels have been merged for the following announcement. This is a national emergency. Important information shall follow. It's extremely important you pay strict attention to this emergency broadcast as it contains news that may just save your life. We regret to inform you of the following. It was just announced a few moments ago that London has officially fallen at the hands of VIVENTES-19. You will no longer be able to enter or exit the city as a result, or rely on any services provided by the city. The iconic city is now an unlivable hellscape for all human life engulfed in flames and suffering at the power of the undead. Multiple members of Parliament, including the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, have been evacuated as a result. Sadly, a few members of the government, including political parties such as Conservatives and Labour, were not able to make it and have succumbed to the disease as a result. This has caused our nation to be on the brink of collapsing as we know it. The Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, has stated that there will be major changes to the government to ensure that our country survives for as long as possible. For how long that will be is currently unknown at this time. With London meeting its dreadful end, more major, highly populated cities in the United Kingdom most likely to follow. If you are in any major location which could increase your risk of being exposed to VIVENTES-19, you must evacuate immediately as of right now. This is not a drill nor a joke. London is not safe towards any living being for the foreseeable future at all. There have also been reports of animals and pets contracting the virus. This has resulted in wildlife in the majority of areas mutating into mindless, violent creatures. You must avoid any areas with a population of animals. There are currently no exceptions for any living organism. Any animal is capable of contracting the VIVENTES-19 disease. As difficult as this may sound, if any pet inside your household becomes hostile or zombie-like, you must defend yourself or euthanize them right away to avoid further harm being done to you or your loved ones. Zombie animals are proven to be far more violent and dangerous than their human counterparts. It's far more difficult to defend yourself against animals who have reanimated from the disease. Due to this, we advise you do the following. If you feel like any pet in your household is infected, you must hide in a safe place and call animal control or emergency services as soon as possible. It's expected that these services may become overwhelmed over the next few days with requests or so, but please only call them if you feel like if your life is in danger, unable to defend yourself. When waiting for emergency services, we advise you stay in a safe and secure room and potentially barricade it off from infected pets. It's also been reported that testing centres for VIVENTES-19 will be opened all across the country. Only go to these testing centres if you believe it's absolutely important for you to do so, as simply leaving your house greatly puts your life at risk. VIVENTES-19 can rapidly spread through pathogens in the air, so even going outside without being near anyone will put you at risk. Our nation and government are extremely close to collapsing and are struggling to handle the ever-rising cases of the disease. This cannot be urged enough. You must stay indoors indefinitely. It's not known if this pandemic will even end, but we must go on for as long as we can. That's all we have to share for now. We're unable to continue programming due to the majority of our team being cut extremely short because of this pandemic. For now, this channel will be on standby to provide you the latest VIVENTES-19 news. For now, try to survive for as long as possible. Good luck, and may this virus have mercy on us all.
Her Majesty's government has requested that programming be halted to issue our viewers this breaking news story. This is not a drill. This emergency broadcast will cover some key events which are taking place as of right now. It's important you listen carefully and follow any instructions presented. It's been witnessed that VIVENTES-19 cases are now a record-breaking all-time high everywhere, regardless of the location. It's predicted that everyone will eventually contract the disease at some point in their lifetime. The virus has become so widespread to the point where you can even fall ill by simply inhaling pathogens throughout the air without coming into contact with anyone who's been infected. All remaining residents must stay indoors for the foreseeable future. In the history of our species, we've never been so close to extinction because of a disease. To whoever is left, you must do everything you can to preserve the last fragment of our species by all means. Civilization is only now on its final legs. It is advisable to secure all entry points in your residence to prevent the infiltration of lethal Viventes particles. The British government has declared all existing laws obsolete in an effort to safeguard the survival of humanity. By all means, do everything you can to survive, as this may very well almost be the end of the world. This channel shall continue to operate for as long as possible. There is no cure for VIVENTES-19. If you suddenly feel like you've become infected, you must end your own life to avoid reanimating into a bloodthirsty beast. Not abiding by this may put humanity at risk. If nobody takes the right actions, Britain will be as good as finished. If you're watching this, you are one of the final people to ever walk alive on this very good green earth. It's your responsibility to make sure the rest of us survives for as long as possible. We are in grave danger. Everyone must contribute or face potential total extinction. The final people remaining at Channel 5 understand how disturbing and difficult these times may be. However, as human beings, we can overcome anything that steps in our way of life. This concludes the emergency broadcast. Due to limited staff, programming shall not continue, but this emergency broadcast shall stay online for as long as possible to bring you the latest news. Wait, who could that even be? I thought somebody was guarding the door. Stay the f*** away from me! Holy shit!
This is a global emergency. All BBC channels shall transmit this final and critical message to our last remaining viewers across the United Kingdom. Remain seated and calm while we gather the following information. We regret to inform you of the following news. The British government has officially fallen and has ceased functioning due to VIVENTES-19 and the sudden disappearance of the Prime Minister. We've also been alerted that the whereabouts of Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, and the royal family are also unknown, including the final remaining alive members of Parliament. Multiple media outlets such as this one have attempted to contact both of them and have yet to receive a response or further information of their location or status. It's believed that they have either gone into hiding or have succumbed to the disease. Regardless, you will not be able to rely on the government for protection or services of any kind. There are only very few people left alive on Earth. You must do what you can to ensure your survival. However, it's predicted that everyone will get the disease at some point, regardless. All that can be done now is wait for our eventual demise peacefully. VIVENTES-19 has beaten us, and nobody wanted it to end this way. Everyone had thought this disease was beaten 7 years ago, but it turned out that we were proven wrong. Maybe if humanity was more prepared, there could be a small glimmer of hope left. Our deepest gratitude goes to all of our viewers, especially the ones who have survived up to this very minute. The BBC would not have been possible without you today. While the end is near, it's important not to forget our values and what this country stands for. The last people unaffected by this virus should remain calm and not panic. Take shelter indefinitely and avoid being seen by any animated corpses for as long as you humanly can. Use all means to defend yourself while the law no longer applies. As for those who we've lost, our hearts go out to them. This tragedy should have never happened, and they must not be forgotten for how long humanity has left. All BBC channels shall now cease broadcasting for the final time. First, we shall now play the national anthem before signing off. Thank you for your loyalty and viewership for over 98 years. For all the survivors out there, good luck and may we meet again in another life.